So welcome to the latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over the topic of working out averages and the range from a frequency table. Now when we have a lot of data is often collated in a frequency table. By having data in a table, this makes it difficult to calculate the averages, as often we calculate the averages using a list of numbers. Now one way to calculate the averages from a frequency table is to actually write the data as a list of numbers. So take the list of numbers from the table, but this method is fine if the total frequency is small, but not if it is large. So as an example, let's have a look at the following data. So in the following question, it says for us to find the mean, the median, the mode and the range from data taken from this table. And the table is looking at the number of pets. So from this, what we could then establish is we can add up the frequency to give us our total frequency, which is by adding all of those numbers up. So I've got 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is going to give me an answer of 9. Now one thing I can do to work out the averages, now typically when you're introduced to the averages you usually work with a list of numbers. So here what we can do is you can write the numbers out. Now the numbers, the frequency basically tells us how many of these numbers we have. So from this we list out the numbers. We've got 2 zeros, we've got 4 ones, we've got 2 twos, and we've got 1 3. And again, just a quick count to make sure that you have actually got 9 numbers. Now that I've written the numbers as a list, I can now work out the mean, the median, the mode and the range, typically as I've been taught. And again, if you're not sure, a refresher is here to work out those. So from this, what I can then do is work out the mean. So to work out the mean, all I need to do is add those numbers up. So I've got 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3, and all I need to do then is divide those numbers by 9. So here I've got 1 2 3 4 8, and it's going to give me 11. So it's going to be 11 over 9, and either I can work that out using my calculator or I can work it out by using the bus stop method. I'm going to go for the quick option of using the calculator, and I get an answer of 1.2 recurring. So that there is my mean. And that's to 1 decimal place if I've rounded. Now the next thing is asking me to work out is the median. Now to work out the median, that's the middle number. So I've got to look out which is in the middle. I just count 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom, and to the left with 1 there. So the median is equal to 1. Then I can then work out what the mode is, which is the most common. So which number appears the most? Well, that's going to be 1. And then to work out the range, that's the biggest number, take away the smallest number. So that's going to be 3, take away 0, which leaves me with an answer of 3. And as you can see there, that I've worked out the 3 averages and the range when from a data from a table. And that's only really works when the total frequency is relatively small. Now, what's classed as being small is based on how many numbers you can bother to write with. If you can want to write 9 numbers, then go for it. I would go for this method. If it was, let's say, the total frequency was like 42, which is definitely possible, then writing the numbers from the table is going to take you quite a long time. So using that method, if I would say you've got a total frequency over potentially 12, is probably not the best option to go for. So now let's have a look at an example where the frequency is quite large. So in this question we've been asked to do the same thing. So A, find the mean, then find the median, then find the mode, then find the range of this data that looks at the number of siblings 21 people have got. Now again, the first thing you want to do is just double check to make sure that you have got the total frequency. If not, you will need to work that out. So here I know that the total frequency is 21. Now to work out the mean, so let's just start off with the mean. Then what we need to do first, there's a couple of steps in which we need to do this. So the method is step 1 is to calculate the total frequency. Then step 2 is then we need to create an fx, or I should say a fx column. change the pen. Where was the original one? Never mind. The fx column. Step 3 is then calculate the fx value. Step 4 is then calculate the total fx, and then step 5 is then that the mean is equal to the total fx divided by the total frequency. So now let's go through what these steps all mean. So let's just put a little bubble around this, like so. So the first thing we need to do is work out the total frequency. So the total frequency in this particular question is given to me, so that's step 1. Step 2 is then create an fx column. So if I just create a third column and I just extend those rows, again, excuse the neatness of my extension of the table. So that there is step 2. Then we then need to calculate our fx values for part 3. So to create our fx values, all we need to do is multiply the numbers in the first column by the numbers in the second column. So here, if I just work this out here, and this is going to be step 3. So here I'm going to do 0 times 2, which is 0, 1 times 6, which is 6, 2 times 6, which is 12, 3 times 4, which is 12, 4 times 2, which is 8, and 5 times 1, which is 5. Now again, this could be on a calculator paper, it could also be on a non-calculator paper. So we just now need to add up our total frequency column. So this is going to be step 4. So here I've got 6 plus 2 plus 2, which is 10, plus 8, which is 18, and that's going to give me 23, so carry the 2. And then I've got 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 43. So then to work out the mean, which is step 5, the mean is going to equal the total fx, which is 43, divided by 21. And then I could either work that as a decimal or I could write it out as a mixed number. So that's going to be 2 and 1 over 21. So that's roughly going to be 2 to 0 decimal places. And there is the actual mean for that set of data without having to write the list of 21 numbers. Now to work out the median, let me just get rid of all of this so we've got a bit of space. So to work out the median, now the median is basically the middle number. Now we don't need to order because the numbers are already ordered in the first column, so it's the middle number. Now if I've got the total frequency, which is 21, and 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. So what I'm looking for is the 10.5th number, or what I'm looking for is the 10th and the 11th number. Now what I need to know is which column. Let's get rid of the fx column because I don't need that. Now obviously in an exam you would not be rubbing out any of this because all of this would be your working out. I'm just doing it so it's clearer. So for this, what we need to do is work out which column is the 11th number going to be in. So here I've got 2, then I'm going to have 8. So in this column here is going to include the 10th and the 11th number. So that means that my median is going to be 2. And there we go for that one. Now to work out the mode, this one's probably the easiest for us to do. So let's just create a bit of space for that. Now for the mode is the most common. And so what I'm looking for is which row has the highest frequency. And so as you can see here, the highest frequencies are the 2 6s. So then the answer is going to be, now it's not going to be 6, which is where a lot of students go wrong. It's going to be these two numbers here. So the mode is going to be 1 and 2. Then for the range it's going to be basically, now again, this is where a lot of students go wrong. For the range, what I need to do is use the first column. So for the range, use the first column. So I'm going to be using, let's just get rid of that blue circle. I'm going to be using these numbers here. So from the first column, what's the biggest number? Well, it's 5. What's the smallest number? Which is 0. So that's then going to give me an answer of 5. So here, for this set of data, the range is 5. So now let's have a look at some questions for you to try. So in the following questions, there's 2 questions. You can choose which ones you want to do. If you want to do both of them, I would say 1 is using smaller numbers, 2 is using more bigger numbers. So I would say question 1 is probably non-calculator, and question B is probably going to be a calculator question. So if you'd like to pause the video, have a attempt at these questions to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of a tabulated data. Have a go at it, and then unpause as we go through the answers. So for the answer of going through question A, so let's find out the respective values. So for the mean, let's get a blue pen. So again, you've got a couple of options here. Now again, because looking at the total frequency, we've got 3 plus 2, which is 9, plus 4 plus 1, which is going to give us a total frequency of 10. So for this, you could write out all the numbers. So the numbers written out are going to be 3 zeros. We've got 2 1s, we've got 4 2s, and we've got 1 3. So there are our 10 numbers. Then from this, what we can then do is work out the mean. So if I add up all of those numbers, so I've got 1 plus 1 plus 4 lots of 2, which is 8, and then we've got 3, which gives us a total of 13. And in total, we've got 10 numbers. So 13 divided by 10 is going to give me an answer of 1.3. Then for the median, we've got the middle number. Oh, struggling to spell median there. So it's the middle number. So I've got 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, 1 from the middle, 1 from the top, and which we end up with 1 and 2 in the middle. So that means that the median number is going to be in between. So what number is between 1 and 2? And that's going to be 1.5. Then for the mode, let's pick a colour. Let's go for red. So for the mode, it's the case of which number appears the most. And as you can see from the table or from the list, that the mode is going to be 2. Then for the range, now remember, the range is the range of numbers from the first column. So the smallest number is, so the largest number is 3, the smallest number is 0, and that gives us an answer of 3. Now alternately, what you could have done to work out the median, or the mean I should say, is, oh, I needed that, so let's just write that again, is to create our fx value. So here, if I just multiply those, now you don't have to draw a column, you can work it out here. So I've got 0, 2, 8 and 3, give me a total value of 13. And then as you can see from the work it out for part A, we're going to do 13 divided by 10, which is 1.3, and there we go. So that's another way of working it out. We can then see that the median number is going to be our 5th number, and our 5th number is going to be basically between 1 and 2, and that's going to give us our 1.5. And then the mode is the number with the highest frequency, which is 2, and then the range is just basically the number in the last number in the first column, take away the first number in the first column, and that's 3 take away 0, which gives us 3. Now moving on to question B. So this one's using bigger numbers. So again, if I work out my total frequency, we've got 3 plus 6, which is 9, plus 8, plus 5, plus 7, and that gives us a total of 29. Now, I'm not going to write 29 numbers, although I could do if I was really struggling or forgot the method. So for this, I'm going to go through the sort of quicker way of doing it from this table. So the first thing for the mean, I'm going to first of all create an fx value, multiply the first numbers in the first column by numbers in the second. So that's going to give me 12, 30, 56, 40, and 63. And then all that's left for me to then do is add up those numbers. And so you can either add them up manually or use a calculator, in which we get an answer of 201. So to work out the mean, it's going to be the total fx, which is 201, divided by the total frequency, which is 29. And if I type that into my calculator, I get an answer of 6 and 27 over 29, or as a decimal, that's going to be 6.93 blah blah blah. So rounded up, that's going to give me an answer of 6.9 or 7, depending on what you want to round it up to. Now again, we can't get, let's say, a decimal answer of number of cars, so I would actually scrap 6.9 and have my answer as 7. Then for the median, our total set of numbers, we've got 29. So if I do 29 divided by 2, and that's going to give me an answer of 14.5. So I'm looking for the 14.5th number, which is basically the 14th number and the 15th number. So what I want to do is work out which column that's going to be. So I've got 3, 9, and then so here we're then going to have 17. So then our median is going to be in this middle column here. So my median value is going to equal 7. Then what's left for me to then work out is the mode. So which row has got the highest frequency, and that's going to be 7 again. And then for the range, it's the biggest number in our first column, which is 9, minus the smallest number in our first column, which is 4, and that's going to give me 9 take away 4, which gives me an answer of 5. So hopefully you've got those right, and this video makes sense for you to now to work out the averages and the range from a frequency table.